And welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey, and in today's tutorial we are going to do a stacked flower, and this is a pattern that exists in the pea pod baby sundress, and the flowers are basically stacked on top of each other. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do this flower. There are two versions, and so this is the largest one of the two. The only difference of the smaller one is that you don't go the final round. So in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to do this, and then I'm going to tell you to stop because then that means it's a small one, and then I'll show you how to finish it off to do the larger one. So you just have to start the video all over again and just re-begin again, and then just do the final version to going all the way around. So today's yarn I'm using the Red Heart Baby Soft Steps. Really quite fabulous. It's an amazing premium acrylic yarn. It is affordable and it is exceptionally strong and great for the baby. So let's begin. For a size hook today I'm using a size F or a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. You can use the pattern recommendation on the yarn ball, which is a size 5.5 or size I. You can decide what works for you. So we're going to start off with a slip knot, and we are going to slip into our slip knot there with our yarn, with our hook, and simply we're going to chain 5. So let's begin to do that right now. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and let's join this to make a circle. So we're going to come into the very start one and pull the yarn through and through to form a nice center ring like so. So you see I automatically just grab the straggler and I just kind of put it around because we want to hide that. So let's move on, and we are going to continue. So let's begin. We're going to immediately chain up 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and we want to come back into the very center of this flower, and we are going to do a treble. So we're going to wrap and wrap. Okay, see how I pinch this? It's just easier coming down into the center. Grab the yarn through. You will now have 4 loops on your hook. Grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through 2. Let's do another treble. Now because this is not a chain anymore, I don't need to pinch that down, but I will just because I want to, and that's just a little technique that's just easier for you. So another treble, so you have 2 all together, and so now we need to get back to the down here. So in order to get down there we have to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and slip stitch into the center of the ring just like so. So wrap through. So this is 1 petal of 5. So there's a total of 5 petals. So let's begin our next petal. So chain up 3. So 1, 2 and 3. So let's start off our treble. So I'm going to pinch, wrap and wrap down into the center again. Pull through 2, 2 and 2. So wrap and wrap, center. So there's 2 trebles in the center of each petal. That helps you remember this pattern. And now we need to get back down to the center point again. So 1, 2 and 3, coming back down for a slip stitch to the center ring. So I want you to do that so that you end up having 5 petals. You will notice that once you get up to 4 that it's going to be starting to slam in there. Be patient because it will settle back out just like so. So I was thinking to myself, this is never going to sit flat, but it does. So just have that patience. So begin to do 3 more petals. So chain 3 and then treble and so on. So let's meet back up, finish that round for me, and I'll see you in just a second or two. So I'm just finishing up my final petal, and I'm just going to slip stitch so that I'm down at the bottom, and you can see that all 5 pieces are in here. So these are the stacked flowers. So this is not the final version yet. This is still have one more round to do, the smaller one of the 2. And I find with myself whenever I do a pattern, the first time I ever do it, that I'm tight on my stitches, and because I've now done it here, this one here is looser than this one because I'm very comfortable with the pattern. You will probably find the same results here. So then essentially they just sit on top of each other like so. So for the small one we just have one more round to go, and let's begin to do that right now. And we are simply just going to slip stitch our way up to this side of the chain. So we've been chaining 3 coming up to the top. So we're just gonna come in and just coming into the chain and slip stitch. So grab the yarn through and through. So essentially we're just making our way back to the tops of the petals to get the petals to be more full. So essentially once you get to the top of the treble right here, we're going to single crochet. We're going to chain 1 and single crochet into the next treble. So we're just making it more full, and so now this is the chain coming down the other side. So we are just going to slip stitch our way down that chain. And we come right to the base. and now we come up to the other side. So here's the chain. When you pull it apart you really can see it. So you want to single crochet, or sorry, slip stitch your way back up that chain until you get to the top of the treble, and once you get there you're going to single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the next treble. See how that makes sense? So now you're going to slip stitch your way back down the next chain on the other side and go all the way around like this. If you're doing the small flower, this is the final revolution. So once you get to the end you just fasten off, and then essentially you have the smaller version of the 2 flowers that we have in the pattern. So continue that. I'll meet you back up in just a second, and for those that want the larger flower you just have to continue along with me. And once you get to the top, remember, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into each of the trebles. So let's meet back up in just a moment. So now coming all the way back around, we're just gonna slip stitch to the beginning where you started, and if you're doing the small one this is where you will fasten off. So here's what we have at this point. This one here is the larger version. It's hard to tell in this one here, but if you are wanting to do the larger version, because these just sit on top of each other to provide a nice 3-dimensional look when it comes to your work. Remember, you don't have to put the flowers so that they are literally on top of each other like so. You can cascade them and make them really interesting when you're applying these to your projects. So in the next part of this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to make this one bigger. This is the larger version of the 2, and because my stitch work is a lot looser in this one, because this is my second one that I've done, is that I think that it's actually going to be larger than this one here, which it shouldn't be, but it's probably going to be. So let's begin to do that right now. So the final version to start the next round is so simple it's not even funny. So we're just going to chain 1, and then essentially every stitch you run into is going to get a single crochet. That's it. That's all there is, ladies and gentlemen. It is that simple, and you just go around and every stitch gets a stitch, and you don't have to skip nothing. You just can just be all fabulous, and you will see that this flower just form right before your eyes. And you know, don't be scared to change colors at any point for this flower. You can be exceptionally creative with your colors. Maybe even do a different color for the outside border, just like I'm doing right now, instead of the same color, to provide something that's more variegated or something that's a little more interesting. So just single crochet yourself all the way around the stitches here, and I'll meet you back up in a sec. Let's fasten off, and then I'll show you how to really fasten this off properly so that your stitches will never fall out and nobody will ever knows where your tails are on this project. And let's meet back up in just a moment. So once you get back all the way around, we are just going to slip stitch to where you started, no biggie. And I want to grab my scissors and cut my yarn. I want to grab my darning needle and I want to feed it on. So I'm going to pull this out first, so I just pull out like this, and when you do that it automatically just tightens onto itself just like this. So we're just going to put it onto the darning needle at this point, no biggie. And so this is a great way to hide the tailed ends. So this is the direction that I've been coming from. I want to go back into the direction that I was just coming from, so in the opposite. It makes the yarn tighten onto each other. I'm just coming underneath the stitches, so right inside the stitch work. Because it's the same color you'll never see it. Just don't be too sloppy with it. And now I've gone in the one direction, and the secret is to do that 3 times. So I'm going to go back into the direction from which I just came. So essentially anybody can reef on these things and in any direction, but because the yarn is going back and forth like this in the tail, is just that it'll be virtually impossible to get it out. So if you make a mistake at this point and need to pull it apart, you're kind of out of luck. You have to redo another one. So once you get it all in there, we're just going to trim it off just like so. And essentially you will have your amazing flowers. So so they're both the same size, so you can just stack them on top of each other and it is quite interesting and it is quite fabulous. Until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. Thank you so much for joining me. For more inspiration and ideas, please stay tuned next time as we have more free patterns and ideas. We'll talk to you later, and we'll see ya.